Hello everyone, hello my friends. We today discussing the Banquet. The Wedding Banquet movie actually released this summer, and that was like unexpectedly good movie actually. I didn't have any expectations, but kind of good movie to be spending your time. And let's discuss what we have at the beginning. Lee and her girlfriend Angela, they are couple, and together they are trying to conceive a baby. And the only option they have, of course, IVF, in vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization is where you put eggs directly to a woman and you try to conceive this way, and it's kind of expensive. And in this movie specifically, it's showing how the decision is so important to make about the IVF, because 3 attempts is when further trying is gonna be dangerous or something, but it's still the safest way for lesbians or people for same-sex people to conceive. And Lee and her girlfriend Angela, they are attending the P-Flag Awards. P-Flag, it's kind of, the group of people like lesbians, gays, gathering for the same reason, to bring their parents and to meet each other. And this community is supposed to be helping people, LGBTQ people. And Angela's mother, actually, she won an award at this ceremony, and she won that award due to her activity on social medias, because she's highly supporting Angela in her journey as a queer person. But it wasn't like this always. She was only this supportive recently, but she was reluctant to accept her daughter's sexuality identity when Angela came out to her. And 2 years they were not talking to each other. So this is only the external look, but behind the sheets, actually, this is not a good mother-daughter relationship. And Lee, she is actually the person who is trying to conceive that baby. She is gonna be carrying a child. So they have one attempt failed already. At the beginning of the movie, we have pretty clear message that this movie is gonna be focused on complexities of same-sex relationship. And a lot of Korean people shown in this project, specifically two main characters, Korean. One of those, Chris, he lives actually in US so long, or probably even was born there. And this is why he doesn't even speak Korean, he only speaks English. And his boyfriend, basically an artist from Korea who does speak Korean and English as well. So he does a lot of like stuff with his national Korean, like, style. All the fabric, he uses it in a way that, reflects on his traditions. And together they met at this exhibition when Chris was one of those artists, and after that they went home, and they are actually living together. Lee's house actually the same place when the same place where Chris with his boyfriend live, but they they are taking some kind of barn, not like a room in the house, but just a barn. And Lee and her girlfriend, of course, they living in the main area of the house. So the four of them, they are actually so close. They not only they are friends, but they kind of living under the same roof, let's say. And Grace's boyfriend's grandmother, she's actually so rich person. She is trying to be kind of looking after him, and she's trying to convince him that he needs to be in family's business. He needs to be a part of family business, which is not any of his intentions, because he is an artist and he prefers that career. And his name Min. So Min's grandmother, she is trying to pressure him, but he never came out as a gay to his family, because in Korea, his grandmother considered to be more of a hater of homosexuality rather than supporter. So this time Lee is preparing for another attempt of IVF, in vitro fertilization. So she's gonna be carrier of that baby, but first time it failed, and she is not so rushing this second attempt to not to jinx it, because the chances is not that high, because she is not that young anymore, and she discovered that chances are so low actually, and she lost the second attempt. She lost again that baby, or the process of fertilization failed. So they didn't succeed 2 times, and there is no way they can succeed, or there's no 100% that they will succeed third attempt, because after that third attempt is gonna be some dangerous stage of this IVF procedure, based on their doctor's words, that it's gonna be hurtful for patient who is gonna be doing IVF. And they are going to they're going to argue about whether Lee's girlfriend should be carrier, the one who is gonna be pregnant with that baby, because she is a younger, like she has more possibility of getting pregnant and successfully just giving birth to that baby. And this is not something she's happy about, because Angela is never like considered giving birth, but like your girlfriend basically insists on this to be considered, because since she is the youngest one within this couple, she has more like chances to give birth. And they actually argued over this topic so much throughout the movie. This is like the central actually point of the movie. And the other like huge part of this movie and the argument that we see throughout the wedding banquet, actually, that Min and his boyfriend, they are going to be like marrying each other, but it's not like, you know, something that will happen immediately, because basically Min proposed to his boyfriend, but since Min never came out, it looks like he's gonna be like doing that for just staying in US, because the like visa expiration is on the way and he needs like a reason to stay in the US. So he needs someone who will marry him, and this way he can stay in the US. But it's not his actual intention behind this marriage. He's actually going to propose because he feels that way. And Chris, he's not willing to accept that proposal, because he like thinks that this is only because of the visa expiration and for green card, just for Min, his boyfriend. So they like argued over this topic throughout the movie, and it took them not that long actually to find a solution, because they found perfect way to come up with this solution. And this way, like when Min proposing to Angela, Lee's girlfriend, and in return he will finance all the procedures, IVF and all that stuff, and like next steps of carrying that baby, you know. And this way he can be like, you know, acceptable for his family, marrying a woman. This is something his family, specifically his grandmother, will accept. So, and he can stay in the US permanently. And he proposes to Angela, Lee's girlfriend, and like this is not something she's happy about, because they are like friends and they only work together that close in high school or something like this. They like, you know, they had that one fling, they were one night stands at high school, but after that they never had any like, you know, intimacy or something like this. But like since the only solution for Lee and Angela to have a baby, they are actually considering this, and they are gonna be doing that marriage of convenience. And Angela is actually telling her mother that she's gonna be marrying a boy, like not a woman. So this is not something like her mother will support, because her mother is a huge supporter of P-Flag, that community, when gay and lesbian with their parents together in that community for helping LGBTQ people. And she is like representing her daughter in social medias as like a part of that community, as a queer person. And marrying a man will mean that like this is like not what people expect from, you know, from you when you are in the community P-Flag. It should be a woman. So she's like not supporting in any way this, like, you know, solution they came up with. And together, Angela's mother, Lee, the three of them, they were discussing how they need to like make this fake marriage, Angela marrying men just for his financial support, and he can stay in the US permanently. In return, he will get all the like documents, green card or whatever. And to make this fake marriage, they convinced Angela's mother to delete all the social media posts when she like representing herself as like a part of this community P-Flag, which is like mostly consists of like, again, queer people and their parents. So to deceive Min's grandmother, they need to like show this fake image of like straight life, which they never had actually, because they specifically Lee, she was a lesbian from the like very like beginning of your adulthood. And but since there wasn't any other solution, they did that. And together they went on the party when they were like the four of them together celebrating this fake marriage, which is coming. And accidentally Angela and her friend Chris slept after that party. They were like drunk, and they like woke up the next morning realizing that they did a huge mistake. But that will be mistake when they find out that it's like gonna be like making Angela pregnant. So she is already, but nobody knows yet. And Min's grandmother arriving to their house when they live, all of them live in the same place, and there are a lot of like lesbian stuff, queer stuff, like movies, like posters, all that stuff, they gonna get rid of it because it's like the evidence of men's and everybody's identity at this place, and everything just screams lesbian, So they got rid of all this stuff, and they like met Min's grandmother in complete new place, which looks more straight, and they are trying to show that they have that straight relationship and that they are going to marry each other. But she doesn't really believe them because she is already understanding the actual identity of her grandson. She knows that he is not a straight person, and she found out that Angela, together with her girlfriend Lee, and that her grandson together with another man. Her reaction wasn't really that bad, actually. I thought that it's gonna be more stressful, but it turns out that she kind of even supported that. After she realized that this is gonna be the only way to make your grandson happy, and she actually suggested him that he will marry Angela in traditional Korean way, the traditional Korean wedding. In return, she will drop that he needs to be in a family business, and she will drop that, and he will do whatever he wants, but he needs to be marrying Angela in Korean traditional way. And all the guests, they from his grandmother's work, they co-workers or some type of staff, and she needs to create this picture for, again, journals, and she needs to show them as Korean couple marrying each other just for social medias, again, to create that fake image. And we see that at that place there is queer people actually marrying each other, as it's supposed to be with Angela and Lee, or with Chris and Min. And they didn't actually marry each other. Angela and Chris, they almost did that, but they got interrupted by Min. And at the same place, at this place, Min and his boyfriend actually married each other in front of all the guests from Korea or whatever. His grandmother all witnessed that ceremony, and they actually did that no matter what. And his grandmother finally accepted this, and after that Angela feels more relieved that she can now be with her girlfriend Lee, and she can actually carry that baby for herself and for Lee. Now since Min and Chris married together, they are like not gonna be faking anymore any like marriage or something. So they have this opportunity to raise this baby for themselves, and I read that they actually did give birth even to two babies, not only one, but they managed to conceive two. And they even did that, like one baby was carried by Lee and another one was carried by Angela. So they both, like, despite Lee's age, managed to give birth to these babies, and now they have two. And like at the beginning they were struggling to have even one, or to even, conceive. Like the procedure failed 2 times, and now like they, by the accident, they have two. But I assume that one baby was born due to Chris and Angela's like drunk night after that party. So, and another baby was actually conceived by Lee, and due to IVF procedure, probably succeeded this time. And this is pretty much everything about this movie. So the like whole message is just how, like, when even chances are low, you have to still be like, having that faith that everything is gonna be finally like coming to your way. And this is like pretty good message, which is making this movie not that serious to be taken, because at first this movie looks more like of a comedy, and you like already prepared for that type of genre, and at some points you see like good moments when like good words said, and you just thinking about the like characters and their intentions, actual like intentions behind those like fake marriages and all that stuff. But the whole concept is pretty like unique, since I didn't see anything like this. I just gave this movie decent like shot, and it kind of was that good actually. The like entertainment part is comedy and jokes, everything like seemed to be on point, and the Korean like vibe mixed with American also like reciprocating with me somehow. I don't know why, but I do not usually watch any Korean movies or TV shows, but I know what exactly like what like Korean projects, movies, series like viral at the moment. But I don't have any like will to watch them, but this like mix of different cultures is something that actually make me like make me love the idea of this because I feel like this is more suitable for people who is not like going for Korean movies series specifically, but to have this kind of mix, this like kind of balancing between American and Korean culture is the perfect solution for me. For example, for a person who doesn't like necessarily like watching like Korean and Asian TV shows in general, you know. And since they all kind of, you know, speak the same language, it's so easy to understand everything, and the context is there actually. All the details and the place they live at, like two guys live in a barn, and like two of their friends, two women, they live like right next to them in the house. And like this creates another like vibe that four people, four friends living under the same roof, and they all are queer persons. Like not only they like live in the same place, but they all have the same like community to be in and to represent like LGBTQ people, and all their like, you know, values actually matching each other pretty good. So we see like the good chemistry between all four main characters. And since I do not really know how good this movie like received by critics or by any like audience, you know, I think this is gonna be some underrated or taken too seriously, which is never supposed to be. And this is just another comedy you should be watching and then forgetting it as like one time entertainment, you know, another like queer movie should be considered to watch if you actually, you know, if you want to know more about the IVF and all the stuff, all the like treatments that queer people going through, specifically women. And this movie is perfectly just showcasing you the, you know, all the behind sheets stuff. And after all, like I would say that this movie is decent, and it needs probably more, you know, different, probably supportive character or something. It actually lacks supportive characters, like someone who will bring more, you know, like different situations into the script, because all the focus throughout the movie only on main characters, like, you know, whether it's two women or two men, all the time the focus on the main characters. But for example, if there was any supportive characters, like even like any of these women like marrying each other, but kind of, you know, one of them, let's say, is supportive character, and she's trying to kind of advise Lee and her girlfriend how to like get to that point to marry each other and to finally like conceive a baby. Something like this is like extra character, extra supportive character, and this movie would have been like good, actually good. Like now it's just decent. I wouldn't say that this is like good or perfect, but should you put more supportive characters, queer characters, or any supportive, interesting characters, this is immediately turns into something bigger, because like characters, when like balanced between supportive and main, they are working better, you know, and this way it's easier for you to sympathize with someone like from supportive or from main characters cast, because not all the main characters that interesting, and not all of them are gonna be your like favorites or something. And when you just found that there is no one, like no character for you to root for, like there is no character from main cast that you like, and there is no supportive characters, this is the problem. Like, but if there was one that was like, that would have been really good for this movie. Actually, there was just one character, which was a friend of Chris, but she wasn't really that impactful in terms of the script overall. She was just giving some type of, you know, help for Chris. She was actually helping him, but in a way that like every friends do. Like she didn't really do anything like for script to be like, you know, more interesting or different. She was there, like this is probably her on the background, but like a part of that woman, there wasn't really any supportive good character. So this is all my take on the wedding banquet. Wedding Banquet is movie from 2025, and I really liked it, but it has some flaws, but still, thank you for watching and see you next time. But I'm not sure with what exactly I'm going to be on this stream next time. So let's see what we have next time. Thank you, goodbye.